Hello, my name is Adrean Clark, and I'm going to share with you my process for the art that I created. In 2020, the Minnesota State Arts Board offered a Creative Support for Individuals grant, and after much consideration, I thought about the Skyway. At the time, I had just moved to St. Paul and thought the Skyway would be an ideal location for art. I submitted an application and was delighted to learn that it was accepted. The Skyway is a completely enclosed walkway between two tall buildings. It is a fantastic way for people to navigate between the two buildings without any concern of the elements. Snow, rain, heat, in any weather, a person can nonchalantly walk between buildings while gazing through the glass at the beauty outside. I grew up in a small town and I remember reading books. These stories resonated and stuck with me. I read about adventures on bicycles and how the characters would ride their bikes to the gas station or the grocery store. They would ride their bikes to the bookstore or to the library. I desperately wanted to do the same as a kid. When I told my mother of my desire, it was with great regret that she said it was not possible, for at the apex of the hill on our road was a dangerous intersection. I was relegated to riding my bike up and down the same street over and over again. Later, when I got married and moved to Minnesota, our first home was in St. Paul. I was immediately enamored by the Skyway, to see the busy streets and all the people below, and this feeling of autonomy and of adventurous exploration. It was inspiring. I wondered if other members of the deaf community had that same sense of connection and of inspiration and freedom that I felt. So I asked. I contacted 10 deaf community members, and due to time considerations, met with 5. I asked them questions about their experience and their reason for using the Skyway. Was it as a means to get to work or to get home? Did they walk through the Skyway or just see it from the outside? I asked a plethora of questions and ultimately found, to my surprise, that my experience was different than theirs. What I felt and saw and what resonated with me did not for them. For them, the Skyway was quite simply just a way to get around. And while they did a bit of people watching, their primary focus was on other things, getting to work, getting to the store. They felt, in a word, nonplussed about the Skyway. And that it was nice and maybe a good way to add some extra exercise for the day, but that was it. Then it was my vision for the project changed. I wanted to show how the Skyway resonated with me, how it celebrated the sense of exploration, how I felt when looking back as a child and reading the books about bicycle adventures. So while I had done quite a bit of research on the Skyway, I was compelled to do more, read more, research more. I wanted to know about the history of the Skyway. Why was it created? What was its purpose? And this is what I found. The Skyway was in fact intentionally designed to be indiscernible. It was intended to be indiscriminate to the everyday movement of the city and the people. It was not painted with bright colors, nor designed to have abstract corners or shapes. To the contrary, the goal was to be simple in design, nothing of note. And unlike many edifices found in the city, there was no pomp and circumstance surrounding the Skyway's 50th anniversary. It was this history that changed my vision. I thought about the creation of fine art, something designed and big in structure, but I knew I needed a narrative, a story. I didn't want to portray the stereotypical deaf art that is so often seen. I wanted to do something that spoke to the experience that I felt and the how, the what, and the who, and why I had this sense of connection. Due to the pandemic, my 1-year plan became a year and a half. I created a myriad of drafts, none of which worked. And then I thought of Legos. The memory of my son and I playing Legos, trying to build houses, roads, cars, and to see a creation come from the innocent imagination of creativity. What seems so easy is, in fact, quite a challenge when working with Legos. My son showed me on the computer a program called Lego Digital Designer. This is a program where you can design a shape and all of the necessary Lego parts to build it. After a bit of practice and figuring out patterns and shapes and sizes, I was able to create a design to fit my project perfectly, and I ordered the parts. When they arrived, I assembled the pieces and the lighting. The lighting was essential to the design. And once installed, I turned it on and voila! It was the authentic experience I wanted. The lighting up the ramp through the doors, to be able to look out, that was the idea. As children, there is a feeling that when we build something, we are, in fact, part of it. I felt the same connection to this artwork. I thought I would have an installation opportunity at the gallery at the Skyway. But in looking at the gallery, I noted that it was very white and very open spaced, and I felt that my art would be too small. My art was not a good fit for the gallery. Instead, I turned to the concept of a camera, in similarity to the eye, the ability of one's eye to be close to an object. The same idea as when a child is putting together Legos and brings the pieces up close to their face to see the detail and to see how the parts connect. Adults frame their view of art from a wider lens, looking down at the art. I wanted the macro view of the work from the frame of a child's perspective. I wanted there to be engagement with my work, to engage with memory, with thought and feeling. I wanted the art to be kinesthetic and tactile and visual, and to allow for that true nature of discovery. In fall of 2021, I enrolled in a comics program. I have for my entire life been enamored by comics. I draw them in a variety of ways and create as a way of representing my everyday life. I often take ideas and expand upon them through my comics. I realized that the Skyway project was not complete with just one representation. It needed more. The project needed a comic. I remember I told you the story of myself reading as a child and how the stories I read resonated with me. I knew I could create that same sense for this project. Following the same drafting process, and after several iterations, I was not satisfied. I spoke to my mentor, and it was suggested to me that if the creation of people and their dialogue in my comic was not working, I should change the narrative and use animals. I thought of the Skyway's mascot, the pigeon, and not one, but flocks of pigeons. Walking along the Skyway, you can see the pigeons and their nests and their hatchlings. And from there, I attempted the next step. And what I created has potential and led me to a story. The prescribed time for the grant to end loomed near, and creating art is not easy. The art is found in the process. It's not solely about the final product. It's about the process, the thinking, the imagining. It's the interaction with the medium. It's taking a piece of lived history that has resonated in some way and bringing that memory to the present in your art. I do not feel finished. I still have a comic to complete with animal characters. I still need to expand on the Skyway's history and take my Lego to the next phase in its creation journey. What comes next? Wait and see. I want to say thank you so much to the Minnesota State Arts Board for their generous grant. Thank you for giving me the opportunity for rich conversation and for affording me the creative process to make art. I have so much more to do. I have done extensive research. I have a plethora of ideas and many necessary materials which will marry into the art I create. This is a big undertaking, and it may take years for the vision to come to fruition. Finally, for me, I would love to see the residents of St. Paul, and even those living out of state, to see the Skyway for how essential it is to the city, and for the freedom and adventure it affords anyone who uses it. Thank you.